This is training mission 17 for AV8B Harrier. This is about Mavericks and Sidearms.
Welcome to this training mission, in which we will learn how to effectively employ the Harrier's suite of guided air-to-surface missiles. These are the Mavericks, both IR and laser-guided variants used by the USMC, as well as the Sidearm anti-radiation missiles. First, a short description of each of the three missiles that are at your disposal. The AGM-65 Foxtrot Maverick, the AGM-65 Echo Laser Maverick, or LMAV, and the AGM-122 Alpha Sidearm. The AGM-65 Foxtrot is a rocket-propelled imaging infrared-guided air-to-surface missile that uses components from both the AGM-65 Delta and AGM-65 Echo in its construction. This is a true fire-and-forget weapon, which means that it does not need any active or semi-active guidance from the aircraft once it has been launched. It is equipped with a 300-pound blast fragmentation warhead with variable fusing. It is able to target and destroy structures, vehicles, and armored targets, and even ships, and can engage both stationary and moving targets during the day or at night. Unlike the Echo variant, it also offers a video image of the target on the MPCD. The AGM-65 Echo is much like the AGM-65 Foxtrot, but uses a semi-active laser seeker instead. It is not a fire-and-forget weapon, as it needs the laser beam to actively paint the target throughout the entire duration of its flight. While seemingly limited, this capability drastically increases the speed at which distant targets can be engaged through the use of off-board or third-party lasers employed by buddy wingmen, ground troops such as Joint Terminal Attack Controllers, or JTACs, and Forward Air Controllers, or FACs, and even tactical unmanned aircraft such as the RQ-7 Shadows loitering above the target area. The typical launch sequence for Mavericks in order is Station 2, 6, 3, 5. One of the main differences between the Foxtrot and Echo models is that the former needs its IR seeker to cool down before use. It is a process that lasts for 3 minutes and starts when you select the IR MAV on the stores page. It can only be performed when you are airborne and in the AG master mode. Finally, the AGM-122 is an air-launched anti-radiation missile designed to detect and destroy enemy radars. It was developed from converted AIM-9Cs with a semi-active radar seeker modified to be capable of homing on enemy ground radar emissions. Despite never seeing operational service and officially retired in 1990, Harriers have retained the ability to use these weapons to this day. That's all there is to be said as an introduction. You are carrying 1 Echo and 3 Foxtrot-type Mavericks, plus 2 Sidearms. Go ahead and take off now, climb to Angels 10, and fly toward Waypoint 1.
Okay, so this mission has a lot of problems, and I had to modify it. I'm not carrying 3 IR and 1 laser, but 2 IR and 2 laser. And also the laser are now L2, the second version. Because the second version can be also used to self-laze, and I will try to do that instead. Because normally for this mission I should have carried 3 IR for 3 types of launches, but one of the launches is impossible currently in DCS, or is not even implemented, or they don't plan to implement. So it's strange, because it looks like it's the easiest to implement is the INS, the Inertial Navigation System Guided Maverick launch mode. The target is right there on the X airfield, but we will have to go.
Okay, first thing you need to do is prepare the IR Maverick. In order to do so, you have to switch to air-to-ground master mode. Now, on the left MPCD, enter the stores page and press push button 6. Make sure the IR MAV text is boxed.
So you can see I have Laser Maverick, but second version.
Look at the text displayed above push button 20. A standby tone should be visible. This means that the IR seeker is cooling down, often referred to as warming up despite actually doing the opposite, and its gyro is spinning up. A note of caution, the IR Maverick is operable on the ready mode for 1 hour, and operable for 30 minutes in active mode with a video displayed. Therefore, on longer patrols or when on XCAS, wait to cool down the seeker until you may actually have to use it. Look again at the stores page. In the middle, you should see the following information: mode set to AGM, fuse set to D1, and quantity and multiples set to 1. AGM is the only delivery mode available for Mavericks and cannot be changed. The multiple launches are not supported by the avionics and also cannot be altered. However, you are able to select the fusing and quantity. The available fusing options are safe, in, D1, and D2. In safe mode, the missile will not launch. In stands for instantaneous. D1 is for a medium delay of 14 milliseconds, and D2 is for a long delay of 30 milliseconds between the impact and the explosion. The quantity tells the system how many subsequent missiles will be automatically uncaged and slaved to the target designation after the first missile has been launched. Alright, wait for the cooldown process to end and let me know when you are ready to proceed.
Okay, now let's wait. We'll switch to waypoint 2 just to have an idea of the distance to the coast. The waypoint 2 is on the target area. Okay, now it's ready.
Okay, the next thing you'll need to do is bore sight the missile. It can only be done when the cooldown process is over. The ABST, or Align Mode Bore Sight, aligns the seeker with the missile. In order to perform it, you need to press the ABST push button, PP17, on the MPCD. While we travel toward waypoint 1, let's cover some of the options that are available for you on the IRMAV MPCD page. Go ahead and press the Uncage button to call up the Maverick video. The ship mode, available under push button 1, changes the missile logic to seaborne targets. What it does is tells the missile to change the offset in order to impact the target at the waterline. When you enter this particular mode, the ship text is boxed, and the opening in the center of the video crosshairs changes. In normal mode, the vertical and horizontal crosshairs are equal. In ship mode, the horizontal opening is twice the size of the vertical one. Next option, the field of view, or FOV, is under push button 5. It allows you to switch between the default, wide, and the narrow field of view. You can tell which one is currently active by looking at the screen. In wide, there are brackets visible in the middle of it. In narrow, they disappear. The wide FOV is 8 power magnification and 3 degrees wide. Narrow one is 16 power magnification and 1.5 degrees. The FOV push button is also used to cage the seeker and return it to the slave mode. The push buttons across the top allow you to quickly switch to other weapons carried during the mission. The step option under push button 14 lets you select a different station as a priority one. After you press it, you'll notice the triangle will move from the currently selected station to the next one. Note that this option is not available if you have only one IR Maverick left. The ECM push button, 15, lets you momentarily switch the display to your RWR, electronic countermeasures page. The commands across the bottom row are either not Maverick specific or have already been covered, so we will skip those in this training. Before we start shooting, let's quickly go over the HUD indications for IRMAV. Press the sensor select switch forward once and press the TDC in any direction. You should now see a square with a dot in the middle of it at the point where the missile is currently looking. It is called the missile field of view. You can slew the missile head using the TDC.
So pressing forward switches from INS to IRMV, but okay, now I see most of the square.
To the right, you'll have the target ranging information, number of missiles, type of selected missiles, in this case IRMAV, and information whether the currently selected missile is caged or uncaged. The missile is uncaged if the letter U is displayed next to IRMAV. If no letter is shown, it means that the missile is caged.
Caution.
I don't see information about the range.
When you are in range of your target, in range will appear on the HUD below target ranging information. Obviously you cannot see it now as you have no target selected. Further below, you will see the range to target in nautical miles. Again, as no target is currently locked, you won't be able to see it. Moreover, you will notice that the small crosshair on the video and the IRMAV text on the HUD are blinking. This means that the launch criteria are not met. Alright, now it is time to cover the use of Maverick coupled with the different sensors. So, DMT in TV or LST mode, INS or independent operation without using any onboard sensors. There is also an additional option to use the missile together with the targeting pod. In this mission, you will shoot one IRMAV in TV, INS, and independent modes, and then one laser-guided Maverick using the JTAC. If you want to practice more, special shorter versions of the training will be available for each of the modes. When ready, turn towards waypoint 2. The targets are marked with red smoke for easier recognition. Okay, let's go together through the steps for IR-guided Mavericks, used in conjunction with the DMT in TV mode. First, push the sensor select switch twice to the aft. The TV video will appear on your right MPCD. Next, make sure you are in the air-to-ground master mode. Make sure that the IRMAV is selected as a weapon of choice, and the ready text is visible above push button 20. In other words, the cooldown process has ended. Now maneuver the aircraft so that the TVV points into the direction of target. Use the TDC to slew the TV to your target and release it to acquire lock. Note that if you want to slave the seeker head back to the velocity vector, you can press the undesignate button on your HOTAS at any time. Press the Cage Uncage button on your HOTAS. This will turn on the Maverick video on your left MPCD. The IR Mav will be slaved to the TV track point.
Caution.
Press the sensor select switch forward once. This will change the sensor to IR Mav. If you were targeting a seaborne object, you want to press push button 1 and enable the ship mode. For the moment, leave it as it is. Select polarity as desired. You have two options, tracking hot targets on a cold background or cold targets on a hot background. In hot track, the missile crosshairs are white. In cold track, they are black. If you are not actively tracking a target, you can switch between the modes using waypoint increment switch. Next, switch to narrow field of view by pressing push button 5. Keep the wings level and press the TDC. If you are in range, this will cause the IR Maverick to lock onto the nearest target. If you are too far away, you will notice that the Seeker goes into correlation track. Crosshairs are tracked to the edge of the MPCD IR Mav display and remain there until a TDC slew is initiated again.
So now I have some distance to target. And probably I'm in correlation mode.
Alright, now wait for the target to come in range. As you are still quite far away, let's quickly cover the next steps. Remember to have the aircraft properly trimmed at all times. The AFC might also come in handy at this stage.
Yeah, it's still far. Okay, approaching target. So I can switch between moving the Maverick head and the TV by sensor select aft, and now sensor select forward.
Caution.
I think I might need to see the message history. Okay. So he's waiting for me to get closer. I can see the target. Strange.
Caution.
Alright, keep your wings level and repeatedly depress the TDC until the tank of your choice has been locked.
Okay, we have a lock.
Good, you have a lock. Switch your master arm to on. Verify that in-range information appears on the HUD, and the HUD IR map box as well as pointing cross on the NPCD are not flashing.
They are.
Press the pickle button to release the missile.
And I will have to trim.
Great! Turn back towards waypoint 1 and gain some distance from the target. 15 nautical miles should be enough. Turn your master arm switch to off, undesignate, and engage the map. Also press your sensor select switch once to the left to remove the DMT TV screen from the right NPCD. Finally, switch the plane to nav master mode.
Caution.
Okay.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Okay, let's undesignate. Ourselves into
Caution. 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 Caution.
we
Caution.
cannot hold. The autopilot cannot hold. So let's try to help a little bit. Okay, now it can hold. So master arm off, undesignate, switch to nav, and in order to remove the TMT, he says I should press left, but actually this is what's happening when you press left. You just switch back to the map. So in order to turn off, you just use your mouse. Okay.
In this part of the training, we will cover using IR Mavericks using the INS designation. Please turn toward waypoint 2, where the targets are located.
Okay, so this part is not actually working.
Caution.
Because the INS targeting mode for the Mavericks is not actually available in one of the short variants.
First step is to set the air-to-ground master mode.
He says that is not available. Okay, so let's go to master mode, air to ground. We need to click it.
Make sure that the IR Mav is selected as a weapon of choice, and the ready text is visible above push button 20. In other words, the cooldown process has ended. Now use your TDC to slave the TD diamond over the target and release to acquire a lock. Press the cage uncage button on your HOTAS. This will turn on the
whole
Maverick
procedure
video on
does
your
not
left
work.
MPCD. The IR Mav will be slaved to the target designation diamond position on your HUD.
It says FLIR TV now INS. So for now we are in INS. We also have the TV because we cannot switch.
Press the sensor select switch forward once. This will change the sensor to IR Mav.
Okay.
Select ship and polarity options as required.
Really bad.
Look at the Maverick video and confirm that the target is close to the crosshairs. Next, switch to narrow field of view by pressing push button 5.
Really waste of
Now
breath.
wait for the target to come in range. Alright, keep your wings level and repeatedly depress the DMC until the tank of your choice has been locked. Good, you have a lock.
So
Switch your
really
master arm to on.
lost.
Verify that in-range information appears on the HUD, and the HUD, IR map box, as well as pointing cross on the MPCD are not flashing. Press the pickle button to release the missile.
One other problem is the first mission design with 3 IR Mavericks and 1 laser seems to not work now because I think the pylons have to be in pair, so you cannot have an IR Maverick combined paired on the other wing with a laser Maverick. It just simply does not work. So we'll try to . reacquire and see.
If for some reason you are forced to abort, set master arm switch to safe position and press FOV or undesignate switch to slate the IR map to your velocity vector. Gain some distance from the target, 50 nautical miles should do the trick, and start again.
So now it's in INS. Let's see if I can release. Of course it doesn't. Okay, so this is the problem with the INS. It does not work. So what we are going to do is we are going to switch to laser Mavericks, and the code should be 1688. Enter. Okay, we are still in waypoint 2. We will laze ourselves because these Mavericks should work also with our own target designator pod. I will switch to the other one so I will not unbalance really bad my plane. So I have master arm on. I selected. Let's turn. I should have picked up the Okay, we are locked. And we can fire. And we need to eliminate.
Great! Turn back towards waypoint 1 and gain some distance from the target. 15 nautical miles should be enough. Turn your master arm switch to off, undesignate, and engage the Maverick. Finally, switch the plane to nav master mode.
Okay, so we turn off our laser. So the INS as he wanted is not working. Okay, let's switch now to the other mode, to the other Maverick. Master arm off. Okay, and we need to be 15 miles away from waypoint 2. So we had a TV mode, the INS, that is not working. It's supposed to work by basically slaving the Maverick directly to a waypoint on the map, which is controlled in the inertial navigation system mode. And then it's just basically the same. It's just how the Maverick head is slaving. That's the only difference. And then after it gets the lock or stabilized on target area, it's just the same. Okay, let's see.
In this part, we will cover the use of IR-guided Mavericks without the aid of aircraft sensors. In other words, you'll use the missile video feed for finding and locking up your target. Please turn toward waypoint 2 where the targets are located.
Caution.
First step is to set the air-to-ground master mode.
And also I need to click the button.
Make sure that the IR Mav is selected as a weapon of choice, and the ready text is visible above push button 20. In other words, the cooldown process has ended.
Okay.
Press the cage uncage button on your HOTAS. This will turn on the Maverick video on your left MPCD. The IR Mav will be slaved to your velocity vector. Press the sensor select switch forward once. This will change the sensor to IR Mav. Select ship, polarity, and field of view options as required. Now maneuver the aircraft and put the TVV at or near your target's location. Keep your wings level and press the TDC. If you are in range, the missile seeker should lock at or near your target. As you get closer, keeping the wings level and TVV on the same spot, you may use the TDC to sweeten the solution, and when you are happy with its position, release the TDC switch. Now the missile should be locked on target.
It's locked.
Good, you have a lock. Switch your master arm to on. Verify that in-range information appears on the HUD, and the HUD IR map box as well as pointing cross on the NPCD are not flashing. Press the pickle button to release the missile.
And voila.
Great! Turn back towards waypoint 1 and gain some distance from the target. 15 nautical miles should be enough.
Let's see if we can hit something.
Turn your master arm switch to off, undesignate and encage the map. Finally, switch the plane to nav master mode.
And there is one more tank left.
Caution.
We'll go full speed this time. Okay.
We will now cover the use of laser-guided Maverick, the AGM-65 Echo. This missile acquires, locks on, and guides to a target using laser energy reflected from a target, being illuminated by a ground or airborne laser designator. In this mission, we will use the help of a JTAC, callsign Playboy, to paint the T-55 with a laser. First thing you will need to do is tune to the frequency of the JTAC, operating on 125.5 AM. Go ahead and do that now.
Actually, I changed a bit the name of the JTAC and the frequency because it's a default frequency, and sometimes it fails.
Death Star 1-1. This is Dodge 1-1. Foxtrot Golf 9836 at 3,500. I have AGM-65E. Time on station is 0 plus 30. Available for tasking. What do you have for us?
Good. Now enter an orbit pattern and contact Playboy in order to receive the coordinates of the target. These should match your waypoint 2.
Ready to copy.
Line is as follows. 1, 2, 3, NA, 35 feet, MSL. Tank, Golf, 3, 2, 2, 0, 3, 6, 4, 2. Mark by laser, 1, 6, 8. for remarks and further talk on.
Ready to copy remarks.
Request AGM 65E. Wind 069 at 2 meters per second.
He said E.
Golf 322036442.
Read that correct. Report IP inbound.
You will notice that JTAC is using the following laser code, 1688. We need to set up the same code for the Maverick. First, make sure you are in air-to-ground master mode and enter your stores page on the left MPCD. Now select your laser-guided Maverick by pressing push button 7. You will see the LMAV page with your currently set laser code at the top and a small cross below it. Press push button 5 now to enter the correct laser code. Your current code will appear on the UFC. If it hasn't been used before, it will default to 1111. Use the scratch pad to enter the code provided by Playboy, 1688, and press enter. Good. You'll notice that the code on the left MPCD has changed. Break your orbit and turn towards your target. Once you're established on course, contact Playboy and report IP inbound.
Dodge 1. IP inbound.
Dodge 1. Continue.
Now request that the JTAC fires the laser.
Dodge 1. Laser on.
Laser on. Blazing.
Time to prepare your missile. Press uncage button on your HOTAS. You will notice that the small cross will start moving across the screen and your HUD. You should also note a changed symbology on the MPCD, which now looks like a targeting reticle. Once the missile finds the reflected laser spot that corresponds to the code you have just set, it will lock onto it. The cross will stop moving and will turn to a solid square.
So I had to turn on the laser search.
Dodge 1. Spot.
Okay, spot.
Dodge 1. In from the southwest.
Now maneuver your jets so the lock-on queue is within the targeting reticle.
Cleared hot.
Clear out.
Switch your master arm to on. Press the pickle button to release the missile.
There's a missile. Well, not working. Not working.
Dodge 1. Target is not destroyed. Cleared to re-attack.
So I have the laser set.
If for some reason you are forced to abort, set master arm switch to safe position and press uncage switch to stop the seeker from searching for the laser beam. Gain some distance from the target, 15 nautical miles should do the trick, and start again.
So this could be a problem. I have the correct code. I had the lock. I have master arm on. Let's turn the T-pod in standby. Laser is on safe. Okay. Let's turn again. So now I'm in laser search mode, but I'm not sure is doing it with the Maverick. This is the problem. I think it's not the Maverick that is searching. I think it's my dual tracker. Now I have the laser.
Dodge 1, IP inbound.
Dodge 1, continue.
Dodge 1, laser on.
Laser on. Blazing.
Okay, now it's working.
Dodge 1, spot. Dodge 1, in from the
Far
southwest.
away.
Dodge 1, cleared hot.
So this is my dual
Great!
tracker.
Turn back towards waypoint 1 and gain some distance from the target. 15 nautical miles should be enough. Turn your master arm switch to off, undesignate, and encage the Maverick. Also press your sensor select switch once to the left to remove the DMT TV screen from the right MPCD. Finally, switch the plane to nav master mode.
Dodge 1, no further tasking available. Thanks for the support. You may depart.
We may depart. Okay. Master arm off. Navigation. And let's go away from the target. So it works, but again, like all the other missions, there are some quirks and things that don't really work. Or they don't consistently work. For example, what's with that X now on the screen? Don't really understand it. So now we are in navigation mode. Master arm is off. Probably it was saying that I have nothing on station. Okay.
In this part, we will use the AGM-122 Alpha sidearm missile to engage enemy active radars. As described earlier, the sidearm is a sidewinder, but modified to lock onto threat radar emissions. Given its short range and small warhead, its primary use is a deterrent to enemy surface-to-air weapons operators, and as a self-defense weapon against pop-up threats. First step is to set the air-to-ground master mode.
Okay, air to ground.
Now enter the source page. Sidearm missiles are marked as SA on stations 1 and 7. In order to select them, you need to press push button 10, which currently says gun, twice. If no gun pod was installed, SA would have been visible there by default. You should notice two things. You will hear a tone in your headset, similar to the one you hear when using your Sidewinder. You'll also see a targeting reticle on your HUD above the velocity vector. Turn towards waypoint 2. On your RWR, you should see two indications. One is an SA-11 Gadfly search radar. The other one is an SA-8 Gecko. All you need to do is fly towards their location and wait for the sidearm seeker to lock on to the strongest of the two signals. Remember that you don't have any control over choosing which target to lock. Once the seeker locks onto the signal, you will hear the tone change to a higher pitched version, and the targeting reticle moves over the location of the radar.
I don't think I have any ECM.
Switch your master arm to on. Pull the trigger to release the missile.
I am too far. Oh, that's a miss. She's not locking, I don't know why. Yeah, I think he's not working. It should be simpler. Now.
After firing, it's a good habit to change your course to avoid or egress the threat weapon engagement zone and release some chaff to complicate enemy targeting.
So I had to switch.
Once the first target is destroyed, repeat the whole process and engage the second one.
Yeah, with what missile?
This concludes the training mission.
Okay, now I have the gun for the last one. So yeah, the thing that I needed to do was to uncage it. So he said nothing about uncaging, and it worked after uncaging, which is kind of normal. Not working. The gun again is not working. This is really funny. So Let's try again. Now it's working, so I need to cycle the master arm. I don't understand this. So the only thing I did was cycle the master arm. I also accidentally turned on the nose wheel steering, but that's really nothing. Again, it's not working. So why not working when I'm pointing down? Is the angle? Strange. So the gun, one thing I noticed is, or I think there is some connection, is the inconsistencies appear in the training missions and not in the normal missions. So this thing, like the gun is not working and then works again.
Pull up.
No, does not. And then it works. So this is amazing. So why is working but not on target? Mind-boggling. Let's try again. But this time I'll try to... Now it works. Okay, still working. Alright. I don't know, is the G loading? Doesn't... Okay, so I think I finished the gun. Okay. Let's master alarm off. Navigation mode. And let's switch to waypoint 0 for landing. Okay. So this is the Maverick training mission and Sidearms with the quirks and problems they have. Let's put our angle to 60. Let's go to gear coming down. Flaps. for stall. I'll put the water on just in case. Probably not needed.
Altitude, altitude. Caution, caution. Caution.
I have turned off the anti-skid, so that's why. And now I turned too fast. Okay, let's park here. And that will do.
Caution, caution.
Okay, parking brake set.
Caution, caution. Limiter off, limiter off. Fuel generate limiter.
Lights off. Well, that's it with the Mavericks.